choice. Like I said, we're going to be using this coconut bra shell, just plastic, or you can use a 5-inch half styrofoam ball. I'm going to take this stretchy lycra natural color. It actually looks like skin, and I'm going to cut a piece of it off. Now you can get 4 bases with this actual piece of lycra. As I said in the beginning, you can use a couple knee highs over top of each other to overtop. It's best to probably paint this white if you're going to do that, because the brown will show through 2 knee highs. Like you put 1 knee high over and then put another one over, so it's a double layer. It does look better if you do paint it so it doesn't look so brown, but this I find works the best. So what I'm going to do, and there are holes on the coconut shell, I'm going to make sure one of the holes is at the top, because I'm going to be zip tying the head onto the triangle board to attach it. So I'm going to just make sure that I know where the top is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lycra and I'm going to be stretching it. Now you're going to want to have a few clothespins handy because we're going to use some hot glue, and it's much easier for to hold the lycra on with the hot glue with clothespins than your fingers. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right on the inside there. Fold it over and just clamp a clothespin. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same to the other side, but stretching it. And we'll be cutting any excess fabric off once we're completed. Like this will be cut off. Okay, and now we're just going to go around and stretch it and glue it. Make sure you do not touch the hot glue. We all know that. And we'll have to, that's the hole I'll be using, so I don't really want to cover that. So I will cut some of the material here. There we go. And we don't want any creases, so make sure you're having a look on the other side as you're doing this. So it's going to be straight. This one can come off now. Pull it tight. My hole's still right there. And then when I go to cut my fabric back, I'll be able to see my hole. Stretch. You can paint your face as well with a natural color paint, but I just find covering it with some fabric makes a big difference, because then you don't see any imperfections on the styrofoam ball if you covered it. All right, so we want to make sure that's tight. This one can come off. All right, what do we look like? Okay, we needed a little bit of glue here and pulling it tight. Nobody will see the inside of this coconut bra once we're done, so don't worry about the mess in there. All right. Pull And I just moved the clothespins around. I think we're good. So it's got a nice tight fit and looks like skin. Just make sure this is all and then we'll cut all this off, and we'll have to find our hole and poke our little hole through this lycra here. Looks good to me. One little pucker. Alrighty, and I'm going to just cut some of this excess fabric. Not pretty, but it does the trick. All right, so there's our face. Oh, got one little pucker here, right there. Just put a little bit of glue and stretch it more. There we go. Clothespin's so handy. Now I'm going to find the one hole at least and just poke it through. You can feel it. There we go. Right here. There's a few holes. Just let that dry. You can actually see it. So I'm going to take a zip tie and actually go through the nylon here. There we go. I spanned our lycra, and I'm not doing it up. You didn't hear the zip, but I know where the top of her head is. Okay, and that's how we're going to cover her face. And now I'm going to make some hair. All right, and let's do her bangs first. Now this hair, or this yarn, actually really does look like hair. So it's a great way to, we're just going to make a bang like this. Look how easy that was. Okay, but first I'm going to cut two pieces at 24 inches because I'm going to give her braids as well. So these two 24-inch pieces are going to be for braids. And there's all kinds of stuff that you can find in the yarn section that you can use. You'd be surprised. Okay, now I'm going to I have little elastics. These are little clear elastic bands. I'm going to put one at the top of each one so it doesn't unravel when I go to braid her hair. Okay. And now we'll take a piece. I don't know, just measure it. So we're going to wrap it around into the inside of the coconut shell. So about that big, which is about 8 inches. Okay, again, this is the top. And we're going to put some glue right on the middle there. And just lay this down. Flip this up, and then we're going to put some glue going along the forehead. And then just kind of fold it down. And then we're going to continue with this glue. Wrapping it around the back, and we're going to again put clothespin on. My bigger one here. There we go. Okay, well, that sits. We're going to make her braids. Now I'm going to just clip the top of her braid with a clothespin to the top of my cutting mat. And just braid it. So split it in 3 pieces. Okay, and we're going to braid. Now for video purposes, I'm doing it at the top of my cutting mat, clipped it on, but normally I clip it on the bottom of my cutting mat, and so it's not sitting on the table while I'm braiding, but either way works. I probably don't need the braid this long, but it's easier to cut back the braid than, actually that's probably plenty. And then I'm going to take another elastic and just put it around the bottom again. Alrighty, I'm going to do the next one. Just put this one beside it so I know how far to braid. My braid's a little long, but like I said, we can just cut it back. Okay, so her braids are done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue, because we will be making a hat to put on her head. So I'm going to glue her braids right where her hair line is there. I'll just hold it. Give her a haircut, and there we go. That is our doll's, our fairy angel's face so far. Next one I'm going to do is make her a little snow hat to go on her head. Like I said, I just cut out this piece of plastic canvas that is 8 inches by 5 inches high in a triangle. And I'm going to put down a piece of wax paper so I don't get my cutting mat all messy. And take my yarn that I was using for her dress. Some clothespins. And I'm just going to wrap this plastic canvas with yarn. I am going to put a little piece of this feather boa at the top for her pom-pom. So I'm just going to put some glue in it. I put wax paper below, obviously, because there's holes in the plastic canvas. So the glue will go through. It'll probably be easiest if I just cut a long piece off here. Alright, and put a strip of glue. And go around. Now my original hat, when I made the first winter fairy angel, I used just like a Chanel sock from the Dollar Tree. But I wanted her hat to match her dress, her coat, whatever you want to call it. I guess it would be a coat since she's a winter angel. So just keep wrapping, and then periodically you're going to put some glue so the yarn does stay in place and doesn't unravel. And if any projects were going to burn your fingers, it would be this one. So just be very, very careful. Okay. Alright, and another piece of this yarn. Oh, just knocking everything over. Start it again. So because this yarn is so long and fluffy, you really can't see where you start, where you stop, or anything like that. So, but the use of clothespins, like I said, is very recommended. Save your fingers. Now, as you get near the bottom, you're going to probably have to put a bit more glue than you used on the top, because it'll just want to keep overlapping itself. So you do have to glue it in place. Just move clothespins down. Okay, that's her hat. We're gonna put a little bit of fur, this marabou fur, along the bottom and as a pom-pom. Covered on both sides. Okay, we'll leave that for a sec. And then I'm going to make a little pom-pom for the top by just, I'm going to roll this marabou. Now you have to be really careful again to not burn yourself. Once you get it started, it's much easier. Okay, that should be big enough. Glue for the end and just hold it. And then we'll cut it off and glue it onto the top of her hat. So it just looks like a big puff puff. That's what Lolly used to call them, puff puffs. Okay, we'll put a little bit of glue just on the top of her hat there and place her puff puff on the top. So we will be giving her a scarf as well that will match her hat. Alright, now we're going to do a little bit on just on the back corner. Again, careful that you don't burn yourself. So I'm doing it on the back corner. Then I'm going to put a little bit in the middle so it stays in the center here. So this is like the brim of her hat. Again, never have too many clothespins. Glue a little bit onto the back. I wrapped it around. Okay, there's her hat done. Now I think I might need a little bit more. Put a little bit more glue underneath. There we go. So that is her hat. And we're going to eventually put it on her and wrap it around the coconut bra. Okay, these can come off. These can come off. And now what I'm going to do is glue it. Just want to make sure this marabou or boa stays on the brim of her hat. Alrighty. Covering up her bangs. I might have to bring her bangs down. There we go. Just need a little bit of a little bang peeking out. Okay, this is the center. So what I'm going to do is I can feel the plastic canvas. Got it pinched. I'm going to put some glue right in the center and rest the plastic canvas on that glue to keep it centered. And then we're going to wrap the hat around her head and glue it on the other side. Like I said, I did use, for my first one, I did use a sock, which was a lot easier than making your own hat, but I didn't have an extra sock, and I thought I'm gonna make my own hat. Okay, put a bunch of glue, get the corner, and clothespin that sucker. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. She's looking pretty cute. Now I'm going to have to do some more gluing on the front, on the top of her head here. But we'll just wait till the sides, oh, this came off. Just wait till the sides are finished, and then we'll go around with some glue. It's getting thick. Okay, and then I'm going to put some glue. Still got my zip tie there just so I know where the hole is when I go to put it on the board. But I'm going to put some glue down in there in the front of her. I guess it would be the top of her hat. And might have to hold this one. I don't think the clothespins will reach. Nope. Just hold it down. Ah, we don't want her braids in the glue. She's looking cute. It's her little hat, and she has a little coat that matches. Alrighty, so we got these little, I don't know what they're called, like a little button almost, but they got a flat back. I'm just going to put little tiny eyes on her, just like that. And I think So I'll use my needle nose pliers to try that. So what I'm going to do is put some glue onto my wax paper, because these are a bit small and I don't want to burn my fingers. Tap the glue on the back there. Oh, I got some of the tinsel. Ah. And same with the other side. And I'm putting her little eyes right close together, just like that. She's coming to life. Now I just have this trim. I'm not sure. I don't know if she even needs a mouth. Let's cut this little piece of this trim off. It's like a rickrack. I don't know if she needs a mouth. I think I'm going to leave her without a mouth. However, I am going to put a little bit of blush on her. So I got some pink blush, which is real blush. I'm just going to tap it on her cheeks. So the face is what takes, the head is what takes the most time to make this little girl. All right. There's her little face. She is very, very cute. However, you can do whatever way you want. This is just a suggestion, so be as creative as you can.